Alright, guys, so this weekend we have UFC 288, Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. My official prediction for this fight is I'm going with Aljamain Sterling. I feel like he's going to be able to get it done. Like, he's going to be able to finish Cejudo in the fourth round by submission. I think that he's got great momentum right now. He's really coming into his own as a champion. He's more confident. Because obviously the way he won was obviously it's no way anyone wants to become champion. He had to deal with a lot of people trolling him and acting like, or saying that he was acting, even though dude got blasted in the face. He got kneed really hard. He got blasted and he was not acting after that. Anyone thinks that he was acting, they're pretty silly, because he got blasted with a knee when he was on the ground, one knee to the floor. But either way, now he's become the champion. He feels more. And another reason why I'm picking Aljamain Sterling to win this fight is because Henry Cejudo is 36. He's officially out of his prime. And something that really concluded that was this stat I saw, that fighters from the age of 35 and above in the weight classes of welterweight all the way down to flyweight, their record in championship fights is 2-35, and that's a huge deal, and that's a big factor coming into a fight like this, because Henry Cejudo is in one of the most competitive weight classes and one of the lowest weight classes in the UFC. At 36 years old, like most of the guys you see, like Aljamain Sterling, 33 years old, Peter Yan, 30 years old, Merab, 31, O'Malley, 29. See, like, these guys are relatively, like, early 30s. You know, like, once, like, Sterling is almost getting to the end of his prime, which I would say is about 35, even 34, potentially at bantamweight. But, you know, you look at a guy like Cejudo, who was 36 when he fought Sterling, or maybe he might have been a bit older, but he came back versus Corey Sandhagen. Didn't really look the same. You know, he looked a bit slower. And it looked like the newer fighter was just like the better fighter, pretty much. Even though Dillashaw won because of judges, I think that was a bad decision on them. But either way, Cejudo is a guy that has accomplished a lot, you know. He's come from, like, poor beginnings, was raised by a single parent. Then he became the Olympic champion in wrestling, gold medalist, which is really hard to do. And then he became a UFC double champ, which is extremely hard to do. And then, you know, he defended both belts once, and then he retired, which is pretty interesting because, you know, even in 2020, he was trying to talk about how, you know, he wanted to fight Volkanovski. He was calling him, like, Alexander the Average. And that was when Volkanovski had just beaten Max Holloway. And he was going to his second fight with Max Holloway. Which, you know, after that fight, you could have probably made the Cejudo versus Volkanovski fight if Cejudo stayed. But Cejudo was talking about it, but, you know, he didn't actually go through with it. A lot of people were trying to say it was, like, negotiation tactics. And, you know, the UFC moved on pretty quickly. Like, the same card that Volk fought Max was the interim belt, or the vacant belt was on the line up for grabs. So that moved on pretty quickly from Henry Cejudo. And, you know, he's back now after he started his family. He said that it's been the best years of his life during his retirement time. And I question why he's coming back. Obviously, he said that when he was coaching, like, the likes of John Jones, Zhang Weili, Davison Figueiredo, and Yuri Prohaska, he started to understand his talent a bit more. And when you become a coach, it actually, like, makes you better, like, at anything you do, really. Once you, like, if you can teach someone something, then it's going to make your skills better at it. And that's what Cejudo was noticing, because he wasn't really coaching. He was mainly, like, when he was active, obviously, he was, like, just training, focusing on his career. But once he was retired, he could help these other guys. Because it's like you're looking at it from a third person point of view. Compared to when you're in your career, it's like first person point of view. So that's why it gave him a new perspective on things. And I would say his fight IQ and his like mind for the game has definitely improved. And that's one thing like you can't take away. He's always been a smart fighter, but now he might be a smarter fighter. But at the cost of that, his physical attributes might not be as good as they were. Despite what he himself is saying is how he's feeling in the best shape of his life, which is not true. Like I'm sure he knows that himself, but he's just saying that so people can still like think that okay, now maybe Cejudo is actually still like as good as he once was, but I feel like he just won't be at that age. Like I said, the numbers don't lie. Just like he said, he likes to say that a lot. The numbers do not lie. 2-35 is very real. He acknowledged that, and his counter argument to that was to bring up guys like Daniel Cormier and Randy Couture, which was a mistake because those guys are light heavyweight and heavyweights, which those divisions it doesn't require as much like speed or skill compared to like a bantamweight division, which is filled with very, very skilled and athletic guys. She's like different than the higher weight classes, but Cejudo is going to be up against it here. He says himself another reason why he wants to come back is because he likes to feel doubted. He likes that feeling of being the underdog. And to his credit, he was saying he wants to fight Volkanovski in Perth or Australia, and he wants to fight Peter Yan in Russia, or he wanted to when Yan was a champion. And he could be saying that for just to say it, but I believe him when he's saying that. I think that that's a genuine like thing that he's actually not like joking about. I think he actually enjoys that feeling. But in this fight, he's actually the betting favorite. Sterling is the underdog because, like I said, prime for prime, Cejudo should win this fight more often than Sterling does. But the fact that he's not his prime, I question the reason he's coming back. And just Sterling's momentum and confidence, I think, should be enough to let Sterling get the victory. Sterling might have the speed advantage. It depends on how Cejudo looks, because I'm really not expecting him to be like he was when he fought Dominic Cruz. Because if I think that's the Cejudo that shows up, then I would say he would win. But I just think that he probably won't be the same. And yeah, Sterling's confidence as champion, the people he's training with as well, like Merab and all those guys, I think it's gonna make for a great performance out of Aljamain Sterling. I could see him winning this by decision, but ultimately I think he's gonna get a stoppage, rear naked choke or Darce choke. That's what I'm going with. But we'll see. Cejudo's a special fighter, and we'll see what happens.